Morning all, we're off to our next one. This is lesson 2 and we're going to do a nice little painting today incorporating all the elements of the things we did the other day. So the first thing we need to do is to get our paper out and we need to get it down onto the board. So we do it like this, a little bit across there, and that will leave you a nice little margin all the way around the painting. You do it like this and then a little bit down here. And a bit down there. Of course, next time we do another lesson, you can prepare this before we actually start. But there we are. So that's got that on there, all nicely done like that. And then we need our pencil, like we had the other day, and we need to put a nice little line right across here like this, about a third of the way up. You can see where we're going, can't you? Now the next thing is, back to what we're always doing, we need some water. And we're going to put some water all over this. I'm just going to prop my board up so the water runs down a little bit. And there we go. Nice clean water, and make sure the paper's wet all over. And I'm using a piece of paper that's about A4 size this time. There we go. So that's got that done. A little hair there, we get that off, otherwise it gets in the way. There we go. Right, now we need our yellow ochre in the middle, or the yellow paint in the middle of the picture. If you haven't got yellow ochre, you can also use raw sienna, which is another colour that you can use, and it makes a nice. And we put a little bit down in the water this time as well, I think. Now we need our blue. We're going to go back into ultramarine if you've got it. If not, any blue will do. We just push that in there like that. Bit across that way, a little more coming in down here. We just push a little bit into this water, what will be the water area down the bottom here. That's it. Now we're back now into, we need make our clouds. So as we said before, we can either use black or Payne's grey or a little bit of brown and blue mixed together, and then we're just going to push some of these dark clouds in there like that. Maybe a little bit more on this side, and perhaps just a little bit of this just across here, a little bit like that. That's it. Now while all that's going on, we need to take some of this black that we've just used, and we're going to put our tree line in now. We need this to be quite a nice thick black, so we're just going to go up from where we put that line in like this. And a bit more on this side. Some in the middle here. And while we're doing that, we now want a little bit of red in there as well. So we're going to put some nice red in there because it's going to be a sort of autumny scene, not a spring one. Right. And while we're on that, we're just going to put a bit of it coming down the other way now, because we're putting in our reflections. And again, some red in these. That's it. Right. And we remember our thirsty brush. where we squeeze the water out the brush and we just run it across the page like that. And that gives us our line. Now, we're going to get our pointy brush, that one like that, which is the bigger one of the two. And again in the black paint, we're going to start to paint some trees in here. Now what will happen with these trees is that as you put them in, they won't actually paint, because the water, the paint is sucking the paint in and it's making it dry out into the paint. But what will happen is it look, as it dries, like they're trees in the background as the forest gets, or the wood gets further away. So we just keep doing quite a few of these, as many as you can get in there. We just keep plugging them away like this, just like we were doing the other day. And as they go on, there we go. And actually, as the paper starts to dry out, so they become clearer. But actually they will still dissolve a little bit, so like that. So we're going to let those dry a little bit, and then we'll see where we go next. Now, what you can probably do now is we've got to let this dry off, but I'm going to do mine with the hairdryer, so it just takes a little bit of this out. Now as that's dried out, we're going to put a few more in now. Because you see what's happened, they've almost disappeared. But we're going to put a few more in. There we go. And I think just a couple more in the middle there. They're still actually quite wet in the middle. It's where the paper paint, the water's run into the middle there. Now we're going to dry it off completely. Right, it's not completely dry, but I want to just take that thirsty brush and run it across here again before it completely dries out. Make sure that you keep taking the water out as you go through. That's it. And maybe what we'll also do is we'll just make a little bit more dark colours in this middle bit here. That's it. Right. Now I'm going to go back and finish drying this off at the top here. That's almost dry now, and I want you to get the little card that we had, and we're just going to scratch a few things up here, and you can see if you've still got a little bit of wetness there, it'll bring in some nice little trees that look like, well, you hopefully would, but it's not going to. Yes, it is. It looks like some silver birches in there, but I think I've dried it off much too much now. But that's all right, we've got a couple in there. There we are. There's a few little white trees in there. Now, that's pretty much dry now, so we're now going to put the trees that are in the foreground in, like the ones you were painting yesterday. So now we can actually put some trees like you were doing yesterday in. So we're going to have a couple of minutes while we do some of these. And remember, you just keep plugging away, and it doesn't matter if they cross over and go between each other, as long as you can got something in there like so. Perhaps we'll have a big one in the corner here. And we need to do these right across the painting. So there's another one there. I think there's perhaps still a little bit wet in the middle there, but never mind. We have another little one in there. And bring these down, perhaps just pull them down a little bit towards the bottom of the bank. That's it. Keep going. And if I finish before you do, you can always pause the video till you catch up, and then we can go again. Right, I think we just need a couple more, and we're almost there. Let me put a couple in the middle here. You see how the white ones are beginning to stand out in the background? It looks like you've got some silver birches or trees which have got the light shining on them in the middle. And we just do a couple little one in there. That's it. Right, now you've got that. We've got our trees across there. Now what we're going to do, so we're going to get this little brush and put it on its side and just pull up the bank like that. Don't need a lot of paint on there, but just enough to smudge it upwards, and it makes it look like there's a hard bank there. And that's that. That's not too bad. Now, we're back into our big thirsty brush again, or our big brush, and we're going to dry it off. And oh, we've actually got a bit of a problem here. As I've been working, it's dried out at the bottom. We need to get that, perhaps just a little bit of water on it again, and then we're going to have to repaint this. So again, back to the black we had originally. Just, that's it. And perhaps a little bit of red in there again, just to patch it up with the above. That's it. Right, now we're back to our thirsty brush again. Dry that off, and then we want to go like this, so we can get some nice runs through this where we look as if the water is coming. And each time you do it, you just pull it off. Not over your painting though. I have to let that dry off for a second now, but we also want to take this back through here again. That's it. As it dries out, you will find it will remove more of it permanently. Have to be a little bit patient with this. In fact, what I might do is just dry it out a tiny bit. Right, that's dried off. Now we're just going to take those little bits out here again. Nice clean brush. Another one through there. One through the middle. Another one through there. And while that's still wet, we're just going to get our brush again with a tiny little bit of black on it again, and just do a little like this, so you've got what looks like and they'll disappear again into the water. And then when you get your nice clean brush again and just take those back out, now you begin to start to see where the trees are just going through this, and it looks as if they're in the water and being reflected. Just do one across there, another one here. That's it. We'll let that dry up a bit and then we do that again in a minute. Now, I've just seen that's crept in there again, so we just got to take this back out again. There we are. Gives that a little bit of white along the bottom. Right. Now back to what we were practicing yesterday, which is, whoops, the little birdies in the sky. So we just got to put our little birds in, and with pictures almost finished. I've got a little one here, another one there, and a third one there. You just touch these in a tiny bit. You don't have to, but you could. There we are. And I think this is now almost dried out. So I'm just going to give it one more go over with the dryer. And we're back to our brush again. Nice clean brush. And for the final time now that it's dry, we're just going to take these back out again. And this time they will probably stay nice and reasonably white. There we are. Now we take off the masking tape, and make sure when you take the masking tape off, pull it away from the paper. If you put it into the paper, it will tear the paint off. So you put it away each time like this. And we take that one off and take that away towards the top. And there is a rather nice little painting of some autumn trees on a bank of a river. But last little thing now, you've got to sign it because it's your painting. So I'm going to sign mine, and I just have put my name on here, Mike McCrow, and what's the date today? It's the 27th of the 3rd, 1920. And there we are. How's that for a nice little picture? Well, that's all for today, but what I'd like to do is I'd like to see some of the results of what you've done. So you can send me a photograph of them afterwards, and let me see how you get on. You might even have some better ones than I've got actually, because this is all done quite a rush, but it is quite a nice little painting all the same. Anyway, that's all for now. Bye.